Okay, hello again. Nice to see you today. I'm recording this lecture today for this asynchronous class, and I hope it finds you well. A lot of times, the times where you're available might be a time when you could get this done and the work I give you done, or other times with an asynchronous class, you can actually listen to the video at your leisure, but that takes a lot of self discipline. So I recommend that you listen to this right now and finish it and make any notes that you need to get the work that you need to get done. We're going to talk about paper number 2, which is going to be due in early October. I've already given it a due date, and you can find it in modules. So I'm really excited. Usually, the controversial topic, and I've taught it many times, but with VVC, this would be my fourth time teaching that assignment. And usually, with it, the students are very excited and they get their own ideas that they want to share, which is really cool, and their own opinions and your own opinions that you guys shared. And that's really cool. But I'm going to look at what we really were trying to do with that assignment, because I think this time some people kind of missed it, but that's okay. That doesn't mean they'll fail. That doesn't mean that they can't get back up again and listen a little more carefully next time. But this is was not about something that you want to hold a flag up and be the cause, be the poster child of. This was not about that. This was about, and you remember, I know you remember my hand motion because I remember my other lessons that I gave you. I was always talking about the other side. Now, does that mean you sacrifice your principles? Absolutely not. Does it mean you're going to have to work? Yeah. Yeah, it does. And so I think a lot of people confused maybe sacrificing their personal politics or religion or whatever it is in their core of who they are. They thought that meant sacrificing that. No, it does not. And let me show you what the college is trying to teach you, because remember, this is a college experience. This is not a high school experience. You've been permitted to be in a higher English class that will take care of your English credit, but at the same time give you college credit. So I would think that you'd be very eager to hear what I have to say, and eager to read what the book has to say, and eager to find out how to make a thesis statement with 3 points you're going to make based on your opinion, but smaller, not such a huge thing. Like I told you guys, I didn't want you to just pick abortion. I didn't want you to just pick gun control. I didn't want you to just pick the death penalty. But I wanted you to pick a smaller thing that you could prove. And that didn't really happen as much as I had hoped. That's okay. But guess what? We're done with that part of the class. We don't need to do argumentative essays anymore. There's one more that you're probably going to do where you do have to make a point about an ancient play called Antigone, about this woman that was so strong. And you're going to learn about that Greek myth, and then you're going to write something that's your opinion. And so you're going to try and argue your opinion, but nothing like these controversial topics. Now, I enjoyed reading all of them. They were amazing. You guys did a good job. Just remember down the road in your life, in your college, that this was not about your personal convictions. Those can come into it, but we need to bridle those as college writers and try and see what the other side's saying. And that's not sacrificing your principles. It's good writing and good speech writing and good talking to your family at home writing and talking to your friends and talking to your enemies at parties, maybe. Hopefully, you won't be big drinkers, but like you picture parties, people got a beer in their hand. You'll be better at arguing your point if you do these things that we've talked about in considering the other side. It's not to become the other side. If that happens, cool. You changed your mind. No big deal. I've changed my mind many times in my lifetime and come back again. But it's about being a better presenter of an argument. So please do not take it personally. Uh, so anyway, I probably should have given that speech before. I thought I did, but I'm going to have to reinforce it more for next semester. So thank you for showing me that. And maybe I'll even do that paper at the end. Start out with some of these other papers that are more informational based and work our way up to the argument paper. I think that's probably what I'll do next semester. So we're all learning. We're all learning things. But overall, I was very pleased with the quality of papers that were turned in. Those of you who have not turned it in, that's pretty serious. And some of you have not turned in a rough draft or a paper. Not when I say some of you, I mean a very small number, and I haven't contacted you yet, and I don't know if I will, because this is like a college course. But you might hear from a gentleman named Chris Piercy. He runs the program at Victor Valley College, and he has asked me if anyone needs a pep talk to give him your name. And if you're not turning in papers, I think you need a pep talk for sure. You fail this class, not only do you have an F on your transcripts at the college, but you also, and you know, if you're not doing papers, you're going to fail. That's just how it works. I've already had a deadline to drop you without a grade. I can't do that anymore, so I have to give you a grade. And so you need to probably get in contact with me and do some splaining. Got some splaining to do. You ever hear that? Yosemite Sam, the little cartoon character guy? He's hilarious. Anyway, I want to go through this so you know that this is not me against you, okay? This is me bringing you up to be a better writer. And another thing that I got at the beginning of the year was a bunch, you know, not a bunch, but a couple people chomping at the bit saying, hey, I want to do all my papers right now, you know. Okay, if you have a technology reason, that's one thing, but to me, that says I have nothing to learn. You see that? So let's not ask that. I'm going to give you assignments. When they're due, you will do them, turn them in, and guess what? At the end, you'll have an education. That's more valuable than an A between a B, between a C. We don't want any D's or F's. That's my hope, is that you guys will not force me to give you the consequence of a D or an F. My hope is that you'll get back on board. So let me know. Now that went a little far afield. Most people are not in that boat. So sorry you had to sit through that, but it was very important that I say that. So anyway, I have my allergies in the morning. I'm choking. Anyways, so let's take a look at this just real quick. This is from the college catalog, which as you get into college, wherever you go, if you go to Cal State San Bernardino, if you go to University of Riverside, if you go to Cal State Fullerton, where I went, any Cal State or any UC, you're all going to need to download the catalog. And you should get the catalog from VVC. Just go to the site. It's free. Just download it. You used to have to buy them in my day because there was no internet. You couldn't download anything. You had to buy everything. So you're lucky there. But if you're curious and you want to get it, you'll find this in it. And these are the student learning outcomes. And they're not mine. This is pretty much every community college in the state are pretty much the same. Or country, really. But especially in California, this is what you'll see for English 101. Okay? The student needs to know how to research sources using the library's catalog, databases, and the internet to develop information competency skills. Okay, you did this in the last paper. Most everybody did. You have at least one works cited. Some people had like 5 works cited. Great job. Great job. But remember, if you don't actually cite them in your paper, they're works consulted. They're not works cited. So you're actually lying if you say I have 5 works cited, but then you don't quote them. That's what cite means. If you don't quote them in your paper, they're not works cited, are they? They are works consulted, and that is a different page that we'll learn how to make next time. Okay? So that one you got started on, but we're actually going to take a test on the library skills. I'm going to show you a video next week, not this coming week, but the one after. And you're going to take a test. And if you don't pass the test, you get to take it again. And it's kind of long. It's like, I think it's about 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. Some people take longer. But It's going to show you specifically how to use the library catalog. And again, you can't just step up to the plate and take the test. Cool your jets, okay? You're in a class. You're going to learn what the class is teaching you. Then you will take a test on it. That's college, okay? Honorary degrees are given to presidents. They're given to people who are unbelievably good, say on the guitar. They might give someone an honorary degree on the guitar because they're so good on it. But this is, some people call it the junior college. I like to call it the community college. This is a 2-year school that you're taking a class in. And in that 2-year school, you must do what's required. You must learn what's required, and then you must do what's required. The more school you get, the more we want to know what you know. Okay? The more school you get, the more we want to know what you know. Until then, bite the bullet. And that's appropriate because we're going to be doing a paper on the Wild West next as our paper 2. So bite the bullet. Learn what you have to learn. Most of you are doing great at this. Some of you are kind of fighting it. I fought it when I was in college. I always wanted to have arguments, with my professors. And I'm not really the kind of person who will argue with you. I'll listen to you. But it's just kind of silly when you're in a class to learn something to argue with the person showing it to you. I just think that's kind of silly. And you probably should have not taken the course if you really feel that you have nothing to learn, or you disagree with what I'm teaching you. Try to be patient. I know professors bothered me sometimes, but I also was amazed by many of my professors. And that's the only reason I went into this job, is because I want to get that amazement, not at me, but out of these ideas of taking the other side and making your argument better because you're someone who's more relatable with the other side. So let's move on. So you want to compose a researched argument which analyzes sources and incorporates appropriate research material. We've talked about 2 things, okay? The library and how to research, and how to do a researched argument. Both of those were in this paper. So good. You're already hitting the 2 things that you need to know. I've really done all I'm going to do about presenting an argument, and I gave you a lot of information, the Toulmin method, but that part is over. So next time you get a new concept that you don't agree with, I would recommend going the full route with the professor and doing what they're asking, and don't argue. Just do it, and then later you can think for yourself, did that teach me something or did it not? I think a lot of you could have learned a lot more from this assignment. But it may not be reflected in your grade. I'm showing you what the college is here to teach you, and hopefully you will pick up on that at some point in your college. Format, document, and integrate sources. That was done okay, but we didn't really focus on it too much. That's going to have to be done very okay in your next paper. So that's one of the reasons I'm giving you this and I'm showing you this, which, by the way, this is in our syllabus. You can click syllabus on the left and it'll take you right to this. But these are the things that, I have the points. The points are not really what gives you your grade. It gets you close to something. And then I use other, like class participation, absences, interaction with me. Now, you don't have to do that. But if you're on the borderline and you're somebody that I've been communicating with, then I might say, you know what? They're closer to the A than the B. They're closer to the B than the C. But again, that's really not something you can argue with. You just have to do your best, okay? Do your best. I could tell you to trust me. Hopefully you do. But it doesn't matter if you trust me. I'm your college professor. So you got to do what I want you to do. And what am I picking? Exactly what the college is required to pick. Not what I'm choosing. So not me. You can be mad at me, or you can say, he doesn't value my opinion. That I value all your opinions. But some of the attitude was really strange this time that I got for trying to teach you how to argue the other side. It was very strange. Haven't had that before. So finally, compose independent clauses, integrate prepositional phrases, dependent clauses, and parallel verbs to develop content of sentences. This is sentence diagramming, basically, and it's super fun, and we're going to do a little bit of it. So we've already looked at every single thing that this class is supposed to be for you, and do you really feel that you've submitted enough and tried to learn enough? I want you to think about that in the upcoming ones. We're really going to move into works cited now for the next paper for the Wild West. So, anyway, if you have any questions, I would love to take your questions. I am going to open up a discussion um, on this lecture specifically. And what I'd like to get is not people saying, oh, sorry, I didn't do this. Sorry. No, don't worry about it. Just your impressions of paper one, what you thought about paper one. Was the rubric good? Now, some of you don't have your grade back, so don't say anything till you get your grade back. But a lot of you I have returned. I think I have 8 more to do. Okay, so in the discussion, talk about your experience with the first paper, what things were enjoyable and what things were challenging, and what did you learn? And then, second of all, I want you to talk about the Wild West paper. Go ahead and look at the rubric that is in the modules for today. And in the second paragraph, you want 2 paragraphs in the discussion. I want you to write about what your thoughts are for that paper.